And we are back. So I want you to imagine that you know the exact moment when the last decade of your life begins. How would you prepare for it? What if the key to extending this marginal decade lies not in just living longer, but living better?
Go to concerts with your great-grandchildren. That's amazing.
Fear itself is a tremendously powerful lever. And when I say a lever, I mean a chemical lever.
It's not that they don't get heart attacks. They just don't get them when they're 65.
That a regular gratitude practice can enhance many, many aspects of our physical and mental health.
I mean, there is simply no better elixir for metabolic health than being active.
Welcome back, everyone. Today, as I approach my 46th birthday, I'm exploring something that's become increasingly important to me. And if you've watched my videos, you'll know that the theme is longevity, but not just any longevity. I'm talking about quality longevity, a life filled with vitality and strength. So one of the people that has influenced a lot of what I believe in now is a person called Dr. Peter Attia. He introduced us to something called the marginal decade, the final years of our life characterized by a decline in physical and cognitive function. The goal is to extend and enhance these years as much as possible. The question is, how do you do that? In his book, you see it, Outlive, he states that no one knows when their marginal decade will come, but they will know when they are in it. To simplify things, and I want to look at the physical part of our marginal decade and understand that we need to kind of look at certain things that will benchmark and see where we are on the spectrum of our ability to live a better quality life, let's say. In his book, he outlines 5 things that are important for us to be able to do to maintain our physical ability when we're older. So there are 5 fitness standards that serve as a litmus test for future well-being. And let's break them down in this video and go over the standards that should be hit or aimed for as we get older. So the first one is our VO2 Max. The VO2 Max test is a measure of how efficiently our body uses oxygen. A higher VO2 max indicates a greater chance of longevity. While lab tests are ideal, and you probably see a lot of these with people running on a treadmill with a mask on and they have sensors all over them, this is usually what a VO2 max is. They try to measure how much oxygen your body is using at different intervals or at different difficulties. And based on that, they give you a number, which is your VO2 max. Unfortunately, this test is very hard to find in most countries, and it's usually at research facilities. I've tried to find one for myself, and I was unlucky in doing that. The next best thing is something called a Cooper test. What is the Cooper test? It's basically running for 12 minutes and seeing how far you can get. Based on everybody's ability, some people will have to walk, some people will have to jog, and some people can go all out for the 12 minutes to see how far they get. And based on your results, and there's a chart you'll see right now, and I'll link that below for you to look at it closely, that based on your age and where you got in terms of the distance, that gives you an indication of how good your VO2 max is in general. Keep in mind that this is a starting point, so even if you do test poorly on this, at least it's a starting point in the sense of, if I train for this, then I can become better or increase my VO2 max. The second standard that we're looking at is holding an air squat or holding the bottom of a squat. As you can see in the video, that being able to hold that position for a long period of time is essential in terms of as we get older. And what I mean by that is, if you think about it, sitting and standing is one of the critical parts of physical movement. So going to the bathroom, sitting on a chair, getting in and out of a car. The applications are so many that if you lose this ability or it becomes very hard for you, then the likelihood of you moving and being active is reduced. So this test is basically you holding the bottom position of the squat for as long as you can. And the standards that we are looking at is to be able to hold it for 2 minutes for males and females. A lot of people might not be able to get to that at this point. However, this again, like with the VO2 max, is a starting point to see where we are. The third one that we want to look at is deadlifts, or carrying something heavy from the ground. And if you think about it, just like with the squat, a lot of people have to do this but are unable to, especially when they get older. Or they can do it, but there's a chance of them injuring themselves or they injure themselves. Carrying something properly from the ground and using bigger muscles in terms of your legs rather than your lower back is so critical to be able to avoid injury and lift things properly without needing the assistance of other people. So this could be carrying a heavy water bottle, it could be a gas cylinder. A few videos ago I talked about activities that people still want to do when they're 80, and a lot of people came back and said traveling. So traveling does require you to carry heavy suitcases, and that means that you're carrying them on and off the ground quite often when you're traveling. So if you have the ability to carry those things, then it's a good indication that you're going to be in a good place when you get older. Deadlifts, as I said, is the one that we want to look at. With this, the standard that we're trying to look for is the male and the female standards are 10 reps at your body weight. So if I weigh 180 pounds or 185 pounds, that means I should put 185 pounds on the bar and I should be able to do those 10 times. The fourth one that I want to look at is the farmer walk. And the farmer walk or farmer carry are basically carrying two heavy objects in each hand and walking with them. So they could be a dumbbell or a kettlebell. Now, again, this goes hand in hand with the deadlift, because let's say if you want to travel when you're older, if you're 80 years old and you need to carry heavy suitcases, which are maybe 20 kilos each, then you need to be able to deadlift that from the ground and you need to walk a distance with that in your hand. So the farmer carry or the farmer walk is a good indication if you have the grip strength as well as the stability within your body, the core, the shoulders, to be able to carry that heavy weight without hurting yourself. Keep in mind that this is also an endurance movement. So that means that when I want to carry this for a longer distance, then I have to have the muscle endurance to be able to do that. The standard for this is to carry half your body weight for 2 minutes. And let's say again with my example, I'm 185 pounds, or let's say 85 kilos, that I need to carry half of that, so about 40 kilos to be able to carry that for 2 minutes. Obviously in each hand. So I would put 20 kilos in one, 20 kilos in the other one. That's 40 or 25 and 25, give or take. That'll give me a good indication if I'm able to carry it for a longer period of time. The last one that we're going to look at is the dead hang. So being able to hang from a bar for a certain period of time. And this is usually the most difficult one for most people to do. The standard for this is 2 minutes for males and 1.5 minutes for females. Now, this might be something that will take a while to get to in terms of building up that ability. If you think about it, it requires a lot of different muscles and abilities to be able to hang for that amount of time. So obviously grip strength is part of it, but your shoulder stability as well, and your core to hold you into place without falling off the bar. So we've talked about those 5. Now, if you are excited and you want to see where you are, and I think regardless of what workout plan that you follow, I think it's important to throw these in there as a test, just as a benchmark. And there's a lot of other benchmarks out there that people follow. This is one of the simplest I've ever found to do, and I think it translates into a lot of things. But why don't you go out and test those 5 movements? Run for 12 minutes, get your VO2 Max, your deadlifts, see where you are with that. Can you carry your own body weight for 10 reps? Your farmer's carry, can you carry half your body weight? The dead hang, can you hold it for how long you can hold it? And the bottom of a squat position. Now, once you test those, you'll have an indication that maybe there are certain weaknesses that you have within those. And based on that, you can start to throw in some movements that will help you build up your ability to get to those numbers and maybe even a bit more. So obviously running is adding more running into your program or some aerobic work to help you with that. The squats is building up strength, leg strength, and being able to hold that position, maybe even some mobility. The hanging, obviously your grip strength. The farmer's carry, same thing. And the deadlift as well. You would integrate more deadlifts into your workouts. And then eventually over time, maybe every 3 months to 4 months, retest and see where you are. It's a fantastic way to see if you're progressing and if your programming is doing what it's supposed to be doing. So regardless of the outcome, the real value lies in regular reassessments and focus training on the weaker areas, because I'm pretty sure not everybody's going to test on these equally. Remember that these standards are made about functional performance rather than the aesthetics. So we are looking at the long-term benefits of this to your health and being able to do certain things when you're older. And this is a good indication of where you are. If you can do a lot of these things now, then it's a good indication that when you are older, this is going to be an extremely difficult, if not impossible thing to do. I want to finish this off and say that training for longevity isn't just about looking good. We need to understand that. It's about enriching the quality of our lives, especially in those crucial later years. So we're planning now, we're working now for the final decade of our life. So we need to shift our focus from surface aesthetics or the way we look to more deeper, meaningful physical capabilities. Your future self will honestly thank you for it once you get to that age. And if you don't believe in that, just look at your parents or older people around you and see how restricted they are in terms of their lifestyle. So, thanks again for watching. If you found this video helpful, as always, press that button below, share with some people that you care about, leave your thoughts and comments below, even put in your results that you found if you want to, and if you don't understand anything in those, send me a message and I will help you as much as I can. Until next time, beautiful people, keep moving, keep improving, and remember, it's never too late to start. See you later, guys, and we are out.